Hey there, folks. This is Tony Whistler, and I want to let everyone know that our good friend Bob is out today, but I want to welcome everyone to Drive Facebook Live, and we have a beautiful guest host with us, and that is
Hello.
Dan Vasquez. Everyone, say hi to everybody, Dan.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Excellent. So he's going to be with me today, and we have a wonderful guest today, two of them actually. Rowdy and Grace Torevell from Central Diesel Sales. We've had Grace on the show before, and now we're going to get to talk to them both, and they're going to talk about their shop. So why don't we just get right into it? Grace and Rowdy, tell everybody who you are, the name of your shop, where it's at, and a little bit about y'all.
So, yes, thanks for having us on. We are located in South Dakota. We own Central Diesel Sales. We have been married for 9 years, and we're strictly heavy duty diesel. We have a parts store as well. On top of that, we service truck and trailer. We're a big farming and agriculture community. And right now we have 9 bays. We have 3 technicians, a shop foreman, a shop manager, and then we have 2 parts associates in our parts store. And we've always dreamed of working together. And so 3 years in, here we are. I have experience in the hair salon industry, and he's been in the mechanic world his whole life. We have a 4-year-old, and we love to play some pickleball. We love camping and all things that South Dakota has to offer. So we've been with Drive a year, and yeah, we're excited for 2025.
Very nice. And so as long as you brought up South Dakota, I have to ask, what's the temperature there right now?
32.
It's not too bad.
We're tipping freezing. Yeah.
Yeah, which you said earlier that it was warm. So that tells me a lot when
It
South Dakota
warms a relief when you get to relief temperature. 32.
There you go. There you go. That's great. I had a couple of questions for you. You said you've been on the program for how long?
A year.
Yep.
Pretty close to a
Very
year.
good. And how close are you, would you say, to a stage 4 shop, which for anybody who has never seen the show or isn't familiar with our program, stage 4 is basically where a person has the ability as an owner or a team of owners have the ability to not be directly connected to the business anymore. They have a manager and they have a crew and they oversee, they're still the owner, they still have to be responsible for the business, but they're not involved in the day-to-day activities of the business. How close are you guys to stage 4 at this point?
I'd say we're in the midst of it. We're not. I about 2 months ago got pretty much relieved from the day to day and only worry about the fires, so to say. But I have stepped out a little more and be able to take longer lunches, take my kid to daycare, spend the afternoon if I want to with them, kind of unannounced. Just so I'd say we're in the midst of it, but we're also in the midst of all the work that comes with that too. Finding your way, I guess, because it's a whole different lifestyle for me. Or trying, stage. So it's
right.
Let's say about half.
And we have I've always had an office off the front or outside of, not being on the main front area, but he has an office in there too as well. So some of the customers are like, where's Rowdy? Oh, he's in an office. And that's kind of an interesting thing for sure. So we're tipping there, but still got some things to figure out for sure.
Well, I want you to definitely let me know that when the day comes when you're walking around the shop Rowdy, and some customer asks, "Do you work there?" Do you work here? And when that happens, I want you to send me an email and let me know that occurred, because that really is an indicator.
True.
When you do, who are you? That's
and tell them no. Tell them no, but I think this gentleman here is the manager.
That's exactly right, Dan. Is that what you do, Dan, at your shop?
No, no, in all seriousness, what I do is talk about personal stuff, friendly stuff, and then as soon as they ask me a question about their car, I say, let me guide you over to Martin. You're in better hands with Martin. He'll take good care of you.
That's a beautiful way to do it. And also what that does is it's telling you that you're still maintaining the job of the public relations person for the business.
Yes.
You're still the face of the business. Like we talk about people who are very famous faces of businesses like Lee Iacocca for Chrysler, and like, Dave Thomas for Wendy's. These people become like the face of the business. And that's exactly what a person who's doing public relations or doing reputation management would do. They would just have that relationship, have that communication, but don't do any of the work and don't bypass any of your people. Like don't
Correct.
bypass your service advisor or bypass your text or anything. Just be the person that's friendly and happy. Have you had any of those kind of conversations? Because it feels like you're very close to being in that phase where you would just be like, hello, how are you doing? Good. The weather's been great.
So now I do catch myself when customers come in. I pretty much stick in the office if I'm there and let them just go about. Obviously, we get busy. I hop out. So the thing is, we have a parts counter as well. So that's kind of an area where you'll have 2 or 3 people in there. We only have one like parts associate essentially. So in order to keep my service advisor where he needs to be, I gotta hop out there, keep him on task, but and help out, I guess. But yeah, I don't really deal with the fires. I don't deal with the yeah, for the most part, people say hi, how's your weekend or whatever, and I just scoot them on down to the shop to get their stuff done.
That's
I don't
wonderful.
really.
We do love our fair share of small talk, though. It is a funny balance of sometimes when we're in the office, then him and I are both very social. So then we'll come out and chat with customers or chat with our employees. And it's like, wait, we're probably distracting our employees a little bit.
It's
So
building rapport.
yeah. So yeah, we're trying to balance that for sure.
Well, as long as the KPIs are going up for that week, then you didn't do anything wrong. And it creates a very friendly and a social environment, I feel like. I was the same way when I ran my businesses. I was very social and we talked a lot, and as long as now if it looked like I was talking too much and I was making their KPIs go down, then I would slap my own hand a little bit and say, get out of there. What about for you, Dan?
Yeah, for me, as far as that goes, yeah, I'm the same way. I like to conversate with the customers. How's the kids? Because I worked in the front of the business for 10 years before handing it over to a manager, and so I still know a lot of the customers, and so yeah, I say hi. I'll pop out of my office and wave hello, but I make sure that I'm very careful not to step on my service advisor's toes or my manager's toes. And the shop just runs better that way. It really does. And I know how you feel, Rowdy, too. Like when you first kind of get to that, high end of stage 3, stage 4, and you kind of feel awkward in your own place, right? Like you walk through the shop and nobody needs you anymore, and you're used to being needed. So it's a weird, uncomfortable feeling, but it gets better. Just so you know, it does. It gets better very quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, one of the things we always like to teach our clients is find something else that really motivates you to keep you to not make you get back in the shop if you don't need to be there. So it's like find a real passion. And I heard a rumor that your passion right now is renovating a basement. Is that true?
Yeah, that's I like to add stress on stress. So while we did that, we also ripped up our kitchen right now, and then same with our laundry room. So yeah.
Can you still cook out of the kitchen or are you eating out every
Yeah,
day?
yeah. No,
That's good.
I guess it depends.
Yeah, one day we had a snow day and the shop was still open. We were doing our thing and Rowdy chose like, I think I'm gonna stay home for the day. Him and Rebel had Nerf gun war. And then I get home and he's like, let's redo the basement. And I'm like, okay. So yeah.
We're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now tell us a little bit about your experience through the program because you have been only on it for about a year, but you're very close to being a master of shop management. Tell us about that journey.
So about a year ago, we had found Drive through a podcast. We were in a really point of time of like, wow, we are wearing so many hats with this. It was kind of like a stressful adrenaline because we both love business. We love growing different things. This hasn't been our first business that we've ran and started. And so how to manage this. And it was almost like, where do we go next? Because we can't keep doing this. And we came across podcasts with Drive, and we found, through our shop software system, we had found it.
Cool.
I didn't know there was such a thing as other shop owners like us. We're in a very small rural community, so it's not common that we can find like-minded business people. So we hopped on, and before that, we weren't tracking any numbers. We didn't know what our tech efficiency was. We were kind of just cruising through the days, fixing one truck at a time. We have some really great loyal customers. So yeah, I was just day in and day out of the same thing. And now a year later, we're tracking KPIs. We boosted our technician efficiency to produce. We have a really great group behind us right now. I think a lot of our customers love our shop manager more than they love us. And so that's a great feeling to be able to go into the shop every day knowing that our shop culture is top. I truly enjoy it. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, we strive on having shop culture and where everyone gets along versus just we've had some we had a pretty good tech who was really smart. He just didn't fit in type of deal, and like you could see them waves, and we really focused on customer service and shop culture. And it seems to keep people just happy all around. I really like to be there. So I mean, it's been good. We learned a lot. See, the thing is, when we took over, I had been there for a long time, so understood how it ran. I also have been there for all the bad as well beforehand. So I kind of had some what not to do. But we got to a point to where I was doing our parts. I was service manager, service advisor, owner, lead tech, and then managing 5 guys in the back of the shop by myself. And it got a lot. I got really, really burnt out. And Grace then was having to cover for parts because I had to cover it back because we kept getting more people. And we learned that we just didn't have people in the right place. So we started adding them duties, and it took us a while to give up
control a little bit.
Control was really hard, and it's a little hard now, but for the most part, if you let your people you have in place do their thing, they generally do a good job at it.
And as far as numbers go, if I look back before KPIs and knowing what I know now, we were probably running at a 60% efficiency, cruising along. We produced good quality work, but there wasn't a lot of hustle. And now our technicians have to average about an 85%. Our shop is running at about an 87% every month. It has since we started Drive. So that's really cool. The technicians are in the right place and they're able to produce.
That's great.
That is
Do
good.
you have any questions for him, Dan?
No, well, yes, but I was going to comment on that, and because I was in a similar situation, taking over the shop and working, in shops my whole life. I knew how to fix cars. I knew how to take care of customers, and I knew what a good shop workflow was like. But I didn't know the numbers, and I didn't know how to be profitable. And I was profitable before signing up with Drive,
You just
but
didn't
once
know it.
I just didn't know it, right? You don't know what you don't know. It's, the age old saying. And, Drive helped me to get all of my numbers in line. And, they increased my profit. I think the first year increased my net profit by like 20%. Like it was huge. It was huge. And I wasn't really doing anything different. I was just monitoring it and kind of knowing where to make, small tweaks and adjustments. And
Right.
it's really exciting to see you kind of going through that same thing and kind of living that same thing because it was life changing, for that. And it started out with the finances and then it went into the rest of the stuff, which is like the quality of life stuff. And so you guys are doing awesome and you're at such a great point, in your career to where, you guys are starting to have some freedom. And like Tony said, it's part of that, it's a little awkward at first, but it will get easier and having a new game, is a big deal. I know Larry Monroe, one of our coaches and workshop instructors, talks about that a lot. Just having something lined up so that you're not in the shop meddling with something that you've created, which is great, which it sounds like you have. So that would be my biggest thing is, find that new game. For me, it's doing this stuff and working with Drive. It's a lot of fun, and I have a property at home with 10 acres, and so I'm out on my tractor a lot, and that's a lot of fun for me, and it keeps me from going in and breaking stuff that I already created that was good.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited for you guys. So one thing one curious question that I had, I was curious about with the weather and when it snows like that. I was talking to Grace earlier today, and she mentioned that the shop's still pretty busy, but are there times where the shop just it comes to a standstill just because the weather's so bad?
So yes and no. I worked at this shop since 2013, and there was times where every winter it was slow, like January. I would just say from Christmas to about the middle of February, it'd be 5 to 6 trucks. I would say tough to be 5 trucks a week. And it was a slow, but since we took over, we have not had any slow period whatsoever.
Wow.
So we did something right off the bat. We're usually 3 to 4 weeks booked out. But back to your point, yes, when it gets really cold and like blizzards and stuff isn't happening. But here's the thing: trucks still need to move. Versus cars, people
Right.
can stay home. Trucks have to move. So one thing we'd like to add on is a full-time service truck guy, because trucks gel up. It gets so cold, their fuel, they can't move. They shouldn't be on the road. They choose to be on the road. So
Sure.
yeah, I mean, there has been days where people have called us. They just want a place to park their truck to thaw out because they have to be somewhere in a couple hours.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
sometimes, it's we ain't getting parts in because a lot of it comes via, UPS delivery, shipping. So sometimes they can't make it here, or the parts delivery guys can't make it to our shop because it's that bad. But these trucks have to go. So sometimes the shop will be used just for a parking space for people
Got it. Yeah.
to get ungelled.
But I will say we've done a lot of work. I don't want to say recruiting, but marketing ourselves to try to earn back some customers in the area to prevent any of that slow time. And I
Yeah.
feel like we have a really great customer base built up and a loyal customer base, and trying to get people back on the road to produce that downtime and produce and push out good quality service that they can count on to get their jobs done, to get stuff hauled. So I feel like we have eliminated a little bit of the slowness due to
Yeah.
the marketing and the business that we have built off of Central Diesel.
That's
That's
great.
wonderful. Yeah, that's great. And you guys do a lot of big tickets too, right? So I imagine you have some carryover work too, some big jobs in progress, maybe
Uh,
when the weather hits that kind of carry you through as well.
Well, like right now, I have a 100-hour job in the shop that we're about 80
Wow.
hours into. So and that's one ticket. Last year for that, we did about 5 of them of
Wow.
just this specific job. I think we've done like 8 overall or 7 overall in the last 2 years, probably. And then big tickets. But yeah, on the truck side, the average repair. So one of the things is, and I find this is funny, is the only way to grow your revenue is increase your shop rate, or cut your expenses essentially. So
Mhm.
we worked on our service. And this is what Drive taught us. Have our service manager sell all that, or a service writer,
To grow the actual repair order.
and
Yeah.
he's grown that. Every single truck gets a pre-inspection, whether it's here to check air in the tires, or if it's, and that, when we went from about 20 hours a ticket to 30 hours pretty quick, and it's
Wow.
nonstop. So I think my service manager is pretty good. He's
That's awesome.
sells a lot. So
Well, average repair order is such a huge part of it, right? Like,
what was ours?
because the truck's already there. And if you can find other work that is legitimately needs to be done, then you just raise that average repair. You might not even move your car count at all, and you already are getting into a more profitable range or making more money. Do you guys work on general repair at all? I mean, do you guys have a consistent general repair side too, where you're working on, Granny's Taurus? I don't want to make it a Taurus, but it's
No, it is
kind of cursing you a little bit.
strictly agriculture and over the road trucking, with the occasional fleets, like your big name companies, like say Coke, or
Yeah,
places
beverage
like that,
trucks.
beverage trucks, schools. But the thing since we're in such a farming and agriculture place, that it is pretty, I mean, they make a lot more money farming, or that truck rolling, than it does sitting. So repair, to most of them, if I learned in the truck side, I don't know so much about over the road, because our over the road is still very agriculture heavy. That grain's got to move, them cows got to move, they can't be down. So they want stuff fixed right. And a lot of the trucks we see, we don't work on a whole lot of new stuff, so to say, but a lot of our trucks have over millions of miles on them, over a million miles. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty, they've overhauled them. They've done many engines in them or repairs. So they want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that Kevin Reichel is watching. He's one of our great clients. He's a master.
Hey, Kevin.
He's saying hi. And then this is one's for you, Dan. Tim Morlock is watching too. And I heard that you and him have a pretty close relationship with Drive. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. When I first was looking into signing up with Drive, I got Tim Morlock's number because he's near me or was nearby me in California there, and I talked to him and asked him his opinion of Drive and if he thought I should sign up, and asked him about his experience. And the words that he said to me were part of what pushed me over the edge to actually, boarding with Drive. And like I said, it's Drive has changed my life for the better in a lot of ways, and so I feel like I owe some of that to Tim. So thanks, Tim, if you're listening in.
Oh, there you
Appreciate that.
go. And then I wanted to talk to you guys, Grace and Rowdy, about your training at Drive because Drive offers a lot of services, coaching. We have the marketing agency, we have the website, a lot of things you've availed yourself of. But one of the things that is close to my heart, obviously, if anybody that knows me, is the training and the workshop training. And so can you guys talk a little bit about what the workshop training did for you guys, or if it was beneficial and helped move the needle at all?
Yeah, so I've just finished the master workshops for financials. Those have been very eye-opening to me, not having that background. And I'm also excited to the point, we're at the point now, I've taken a ton of action workshops. They've been very helpful, not only the networking and being able to talk to other business owners, but then being able to implement the after workshop actions. I do have to really discipline myself to, after the workshop, follow those after workshop actions instead of just move on to the next. Something him and I love to do is we're so excited about a lot of things. We start projects or have all these ideas at the shop, but then we have to kind of simmer down and focus on other things to complete them to 100%. And I would say also we're at the point now where some of our employees and our manager, they're taking those action workshops too. So it's a really breath of fresh air that we're not having to physically teach them that stuff. We have Drive now for them to be able to log on and get insight and get a different perspective, because managing people is also learning what your employees' learning style is. And sometimes we're not the best teachers from them. So, or the best teachers for them. So it's really beneficial that we have Drive behind us to help educate and help with those problems that we're having in the shop.
Oh, that's great. And then you have done Essentials of Shop Management as well, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you both attend that, or was it just you, Grace?
It was mainly Grace. I was
Mhm.
I'm a little behind the eight ball, I will admit. Is what I like about them is I am not a good teacher. I speak fast. I want to see improvements instantly, and I grind through, and that's kind of why I feel I'm a good tech. But I like that I could send like my parts guy, we're doing a sales one for him. I can't teach him my sales tricks. I'm not very good at getting it out on paper. I've tried, but the classes you guys have are perfect for that because they understand it. So
That's great. Will you guys be attending the expo this year?
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah, that's one of our goals. I will say I'm a little torn. One of our employees is getting married that same weekend, of course, out of all the years.
Our all-star.
Yeah. So we do have it on our bucket list to actually take our first full 5-day vacation from the shop on top of going to expo. We have taken vacations from the shop, not necessarily peaceful ones together to where we can leave the shop knowing it's full going. So that is something that we'd really like to try to do, is prepare for September to be able to take a full-time trip from the shop. So that's our goal.
Oh, that's exciting. That's very exciting. Very good. And then I guess it's time for a station identification, right? And a little commercial. I want to let everybody know, of course, that the expo is happening. It will be happening September 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. Generally, many times in the past, we've gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but this time we're trying something a little newer. We're going to go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's going to be great. Anybody that's ever been to an expo, were you at the expo last year, Grace and Rowdy?
We did. We were there and we got the professional shop award, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, the networking, the food,
Yeah, it was fun.
the Texas vibes. It was a great time. So we're looking forward to Vegas for sure.
Yeah, it'll be great in Vegas too. We've done it once there before. Since I've been with Drive, we've been there one time before, and it was fabulous. So want to make sure everybody goes. You can sign up for it. I think that we'll put the link to the sign up in the chat. And then I also want to mention that next week, we're going to have our guest next week on February 7th will be Rick King, the owner of Corning Auto Center in Corning, California. We're going to have a chat with him. He's got 30 plus years of experience as a shop owner, and his experience with Drive as well. So that'll be a great show. So now back to the show. So another thing I wanted to ask you guys about, I think I got the answer to this early on, but I just want to confirm. So when you do fleet work, you do that remote, right? You just go out and do any kind of maintenance or anything while you're at the facility, right? You do that there, right?
No, all fleet work is done in our shop, but
okay.
there is special occasions where we do have some massive elevators, if anyone's familiar. But essentially, we'll go there and do like inspections because they'll have 50 trucks or 60 pieces of equipment that all need inspections. So I mean, so we will go there to do stuff like that, or essentially maybe send a guy every now and then. But generally, no, it's all we try to get as much in our shop as possible.
Now, so for those situations, it seems like less common than I was thinking a minute ago. But do you have a facility for that? Do you have a mobile truck, or do you not? Is it so?
No, we don't. No, we don't really have a mobile truck at this time.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. We do get we get a lot of service calls. We don't have necessarily the manpower to let a technician go off the truck that's in the shop to send them out. It's one of those things that if we do a road call service, it's usually just to get them back as quick, repair it quick and get them back into the shop. We are at a point too where with the amount of technicians we have, we're looking for about one more technician, I would say. With like our dream team would be 4 technicians. So one more is what we're looking
we're already
for.
busting at the seams due to our times to work on a truck where we're located is really hard to get parts. We are our own parts resource. So it's pretty hard to.
And then on top of that, base space with heavy truck is something that we're filling up. So we are going to have to look at some kind of expanding in the next 3 years, I would assume, in order to handle the capacity that we're at for sure.
Do you own the building or do you lease it?
We do own the building. Yep.
Good. Do you have enough space? You have enough land to do renovations and add bays?
We do. We actually have an extra shop as well that's not being used besides for our storage. So we have dabbled with the idea of light duty diesel as well in the future. That's a big need in our area. So we're not opposed to that either, but we do have the space to grow however that looks on the property. So that's an exciting adventure too.
Well, there you go. Very good. Anything else, Dan?
Well, I'm just excited for you guys. Your guys' shop is on a great trajectory, and it sounds like you've got a plan for expansion, which is exciting. These are good problems to have, right? If you want to call them that. And so good for you guys. Well done. I'm happy for you guys. And I'm just excited to see what you guys are able to accomplish in 2025. I know it's going to be great.
Thank you. Thank you. I will say too, one takeaway that we've learned in the last year from Drive is there's so many good people out there to work for you. And it starts with the owner's mindset of being positive, finding the right people, cultivating that shop culture. So I know some of our team will watch this. I'm very thankful for the group we've got now, and then also the customers too, and the relationships we built. So speaking positivity in our shop has been a huge reason for success. We're eager and excited for the future, and that helps grow and help our employees be excited and want to be the best they can be for themselves too in their career. So that's a big takeaway that Drive has helped me, is manifest what I want to be and create.
That's wonderful. You got anything to add to that, Rowdy?
Yeah, it's always better to look at the glass half full, always manifest the good, because you can sit there and manifest, look at everything, you know, the glass half empty, and you're never gonna fill it. So we always try to say that, you know, we have a couple bad comebacks or rundowns. It's like, I mean, it happens, right? Let's push through it and on to the next, because in reality, you always want to be going up. So
yeah,
that's kind of where we put our mind.
That's great, guys. I'm so happy that you guys are on the show. Thank you, Dan, for helping me out today.
You bet.
This will be the end of Drive Facebook Live for this week. I want to tell everybody have a great week, and of course, make a lot of money. And thanks again, guys, for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.